Welcome to Mind and Movement, getting smart about how you move. I'm Hazel. Thanks for joining me for Coffee and Move 49. It's Mother's Day here in New Zealand, so we're going to do a Mother's Day special for all you mothers out there. Now, the things that mothers have to do is push babies out and carry babies. And one of the reasons why many of us, not me because I haven't had a baby, but many people who have had babies have problems is not because of actually the baby, but because of a pressure problem that they had in the abdominal cavity before they had the baby, and then of course putting a baby in there made the problem even worse. So we get diastasis recti, which is a splitting of the linea alba between the rectus abdominis. You can get hernias, and of course you can get pelvic floor issues. So what many of us do to try and fix our pelvic floor is just to artificially engage that muscle. But what we really need to do is get the muscle in the position, get the muscles, the levator ani, all of the beautiful pubococcygeus, iliococcygeus, all of those wonderful pelvic floor muscles. They should form the floor of your pelvis, right? The pelvic floor. But when we get, I'm going to take my jacket so you can see my pelvis. When we get into positions like this, with our pelvis out in front of us, we cause something called, it's kind of positional inhibition. So I've taken the muscles of the pelvic floor that should be kind of sitting straight through here, and I have shifted their position. So one of the main jobs of the pelvic floor is to take the load of the internal organs all day, every day, right? And when I'm standing in a neutral position with my pelvis back, then my pelvic floor can do that. So all day it's just working, carrying the load of the internal organs. So when I'm in this position a lot, all of a sudden it can't do its job as well. And when we sit down all the time, all of a sudden the pelvic floor is not being used for what it should be. So no, you don't need to do any specific tightening of the pelvic floor muscle, like Kegels and whatnot. You just need to get your body back into good alignment and move it. So one of the key things that you can do for your pelvic floor is to get your femur vertical. Instead of having the femur tilted forward, you can see now my femur's on an angle like this. I need my femur vertical. And the things that are going to stop me from having a femur that can be vertical are really tight calf muscles, overactive quad muscles, not strong enough glute muscles, too tight back muscles, not strong enough core muscles, etc., etc. So a pelvic floor issue is not just an issue of the pelvic floor, it's a total body problem. So for all you mums out here who are having issues with the pelvic floor, even if you're not, and if you're a guy out there who's having pelvic floor issues as well, which many men are, it's because you are creating these positional inhibitions. We're not using our muscles. One of the best ways to positionally inhibit your muscles is to sit down all day, right? So we're going to do a calf stretch with our femur straight up and down. So here you really don't want to do this with your femur in a neutral position, in a tilted position, because I want your body to get used to what it feels like having a vertical femur. So while you may feel more stretch here, you're also practicing the pattern of having your pelvic thrusted. And I want you to help you with your pelvic floor issues, if you've got them, is to learn how to stretch your calf muscle with your quad off. So play around with that one. Stretch the calves, turn the quads off, and let your pelvic floor just do its thing. The other thing that the pelvic floor muscles are really involved in is like moving the femur in terms of internal and external rotation. Obturator externus is heavily involved in that. The deep lateral rotators, the piriformis, the gemelles, the obturator externus, internus rather, and then you've got quadratus femoris, all of those muscles in those, the deep six, the lateral hip, the deep lateral rotators. They're not traditionally classed as pelvic floor muscles, but they are highly influencing the position of the sacrum, which are positioning all of those muscles that are coming off the sacrum and into the pelvic floor. So rotation is a thing that you can practice as well. And the other thing here that I'd really love you to think about is your femur in neutral, or is your femur got a massive internal rotation? So see there, I have turned my femur inwards. Now many people have this pattern, so you need to start to learn to externally rotate your femur to a neutral position, and your knee pit is in neutral when the hamstring tendons are on the same plane. So one of them is not forward of the other in this plane, right? So you want to practice externally rotating the femur a bit while stretching the calf. Then you're going to get a calf stretch like you've never had before. So you're the boss of your body, all that good stuff. Only load it in ways that you want to load it. But practice this, because this is using those deep six to laterally rotate the hip, which is meaning that it's creating different loads on the pelvic floor, which are the loads that your pelvic floor needs to be able to create and deal with and all of that wonderful stuff. So in our kind of Western exercise paradigm, if a muscle isn't functioning properly, we just go, well, it's that muscle's fault, and let's just work it over and 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 over again. That will never fix the problem. You need to get your body back into natural alignment, get your joints articulating through their full range of motion, be able to move your pelvis independently of your rib cage, be able to move your hip joints, so move the head of the femur in the acetabula, and walk a lot. If you get your body in pretty good natural alignment and walk a lot, you won't have any pelvic floor issues. And squat, we could go on for a long, long time, but I'm not going to. So if you've got pelvic floor issues, get your weight back in your heels so that the femur can be vertical. Practice that a lot. To do that, you're going to have to learn to stretch your calves a lot and to turn the quads off. So play with those three things today. Weight in your heels, get that pelvic thrust or that anterior pelvic shift, right? Anterior pelvic shift of the pelvis, we want that pelvis to be nice and neutral, stacked on a vertical femur, and get your pelvis in that position, stretch your calves, turn off your quads, and start to just get loads into your pelvic floor on a daily basis without you actually having to do any exercise. Remember that exercise is the invention of a sedentary society, natural people, humans who still live in very traditional lifestyles, never exercise, and they have some of the best heart health in the world. And there is a lot of science to back up that claim. So let's get in good alignment and then move our bodies a lot today. I hope you have a magical Mother's Day. Much, much love to all the mums out there, especially my mum and all the mums I know and love. Fee, she's a great mum. Ruthie, she's a great mum. My sister Helen, she's a great mum. My sister-in-law, Renata, she's a great mum. All great mums out there. Have a great Mother's Day.